Good morning from Jerusalem. This is Mordechai Katkis. Today we are starting a fascinating new series about the great women of history. This series is dedicated to Batya Zanofsky. May her memory be blessed. It is to give her soul merit. She was a very special, wonderful woman, and she passed away just about 2 weeks ago. And Mrs. Zanofsky wrote a very interesting book. It's called The Women of the Eternal Nation, but it has a message for the entire world. This book goes into depth and discusses the character of many special women. Today we would like to discuss the character of Sarah, who we will call Sarah. Sarah was the wife of Abraham, and Sarah and Abraham started a revolution. Up until their time, everyone was an idol worshiper. They believed many different gods. The god of fertility, the god of the plant kingdom. Everything had a god. But Abraham, and Sarah started going around and telling the world that there is only one supreme and kind God, God Almighty. He created the world and He looks after His creation. The Bible in Genesis tells us about Abraham and Sarah. And I quote, "Vayikach Avram es Sarai ishtoi v'sloi v'zenefesh ezer osu v'choron. Vayom Hashem Avram lech l'chol mi'aretzecha." God tells Abraham to leave his country, to leave his birthplace, to leave his father's home, and to go on a great journey. He did not tell him where to go. So Abraham started to journey. His soul told him he should go in the direction of the land of Israel. And he took with him Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his nephew, and he took the souls that they had made in Haran. The Medrash, which is the oral tradition that has been given down from God to Moses and down throughout the generations until today. The way to understand and properly interpret the verses of the Bible states that there's a discrepancy in this verse. First, it says that Abraham took, which is in the singular form, and then it says, and he took the souls that they made or did. The word asu in Hebrew means they made or they did in this town of Haran. So the Medrash is puzzled by this discrepancy, and the Medrash answers, Abraham would convert the men and Sarah would convert the women. What does it mean to convert? There were no Jews at the time. How do you convert? From what to what? Obviously it means converting people from idol worship to monotheism, to believing in one God. Abraham was given the 7 Noahide laws from his ancestor Noah. Obviously he and Sarah were converting people to become Noahides, to keep the 7 Noahide laws. What are the 7 Noahide laws? Adam, the first man, who was created by God Himself, was given a set of 6 laws. A human being has 6 easy pieces of instruction in order to live properly on this planet. These laws are to believe in one God, which means not to worship idols, not to curse God in any way. It means not to murder or to steal or to commit adultery, and to set up courts of law to enforce the civil laws. And since Adam was a vegetarian, he did not receive any of the laws, but Noah, who was permitted to eat meat, was also given the law against tearing off the flesh of a live animal. So these are the 7 laws which Abraham and Sarah taught the world. Now, we see something fascinating over here, that Abraham would speak and have an effect on the men, and Sarah had an effect on the women. It does not say that together they had audiences of men and women. No. They were very careful about modesty. They were very careful to separate the men from the women. The men stayed with Abraham and the women stayed with Sarah. Again, the Medrash asks, why does it use the term to make or to do, which asu, and not the term of talking? Why doesn't it say that they spoke to people? And the Medrash answers in the name of Rabbi Chunia, and he says that they brought people close to the 7 Noahide laws and to God through action. It was mainly through action and not just through speech. What was the action? The Medrash tells us that Abraham would bring people into his home, give them food and drink. And as a full partner, Sarah did the same. She brought the women into her tent, and she would give them food and drink. And by bringing these people close to them, by having a personal relationship, they were able to bring them close to God. Throughout the Bible, we find the term Ohel, the tent. In fact, in the book of Judges, we find it that all the matriarchs are called Nashim Ba'ohel, women of the tent. Sarah remained in the tent. Her place was in the tent. She was the epitome of modesty. And from the tent, she was able to have a great influence on women. Well, Abraham went out into the world and brought people into his tent, where he was able to have an influence. And we merit to learn from Abraham and from Sarah how to help people and how to bring them closer to God.